Hey everyone. Hey. I just had to get this message out. For some reason, let me just see whether you guys are hearing me here. Okay, it's not showing here yet. Let me see if you're hearing me because I just can't continue to talk and you guys are not hearing me. That's so bad. Oh my. Let me see if you're hearing me here. Okay. Let's see. Hey. Okay. Hey. Are you guys hearing me? Like, are you not hearing me? Okay. All the technical difficulties. I cannot. I cannot. Okay, let's see. You hear me? Okay. There we go. There we go. Yes, yes, we hearing you. We hearing you. Okay, cool. All right. So today was more on talking of who. Okay. So I had to cut that off because I'm literally hearing myself. So I was talking earlier about me. Who change me? When we are looking for change or we're looking to elevate ourselves, change is inevitable. Change is something that we cannot do without. Seasons, seasons, we're growing, we can't remain the same. So I was so enthused when I was reading this book. Ladies, when I talk about, ladies and gents, when I talk about change, what I'm really saying is it's not just only change in a marriage, change in the way you carry yourself, even change in elevation, the way that you are elevating, change. I'm going to read something. It was really like, my God. It says, the biggest problem I have, or the biggest problem I faced in our marriage was my husband's temper. The only ones who were ever the object of his anger were me and the children. He used words like weapons that left me crippled or paralyzed. I'm not saying that I was without fault, quite the contrary. I was sure I was as much to blame as he, but I didn't know what to do about it. I pleaded with God on a regular basis to make my husband more sensitive, less angry, more pleasant, less irritable. But I saw few changes. Because some of you guys relate to that. I saw few changes. You know, you've been praying, you've been fasting, it just seems as if nothing is working. I love the way that, she, because I told you guys to get this going. I love the way that she also knows that before something can happen, something was triggered. You know, an action that she probably provoked caused a reaction. Because a lot of women, we will not blame ourselves. We'd be like, but I didn't do anything. It's all his fault. He did it. Change him, Lord. Change him, Lord. Okay. I mean, I've prayed that prayer too in the beginning of my marriage. Change him, Lord. So she's saying that she pleaded with God on a regular basis to make her husband more sensitive, less angry, more pleasant, less irritable, but saw few changes. Was God not listening? And this is what we think a lot of times, is that God is not listening. Like the way I'm praying, the way I'm firing and fasting, God is definitely not listening because this man is not changing. It's always the other person. We were kids and mom and dad would catch you doing something. You'd be like, oh, he made me do it. Oh, I've even gone too far. Look at Adam and Eve. Oh, it was the wife you gave me that made me do it. We're always blaming. Was God not listening, or did he favor the husband over the wife, as I suspected? After a number of years, with little change, I cried out to the Lord one day in despair saying, God, I can't live this way anymore. I know what you said about divorce, but I can't live in the same house with this man. Help me. I sat on a bed holding my Bible for hours as I struggled with the strongest desire to take the children and leave. I know many of y'all just want to take the kids and be out. Like, I can't take this no more. But you know what? Change will come. Man and woman have seasons. And you have to also know the man that you're married to, the one that you said, I do too. And stop looking at the other couples that's across the street, around the corner, or your sister's marriage, or your parents' marriage. You said, I do to this dude. You said, I do to this dude. She says, help me, Lord. I sat on the bed holding my Bible for hours as I struggled with the strongest desire to take the children and leave. I believe that because I came to God in total honesty about what I felt, He allowed me to thoroughly and clearly envision what life would be like if I left. Now, a lot of people think this, and then they stay in marriages that are crazily abusive. Like, her marriage was not physically abusive. It was not physically abusive. But a lot of people also say, well, emotional abuse is even worse than physical. There's no abuse that's good. None. None. Because it's to a fellow human being. But you know what it is? One of the other video that I did 2 days ago, I was letting you all know that we are the one that give birth to men. We give birth to them. So being that we give birth to them, it's also our responsibility to make sure that we know who they are, we know their personalities, we understand them. They talk. We begin as women to teach them. A lot of them didn't have fathers in their life. They don't know what it's like to do certain things because they didn't have fathers in their life. Now, you say, I do to the proposal, and then 2, 3, 4 years later, he's either not talking to you, talking with you, he's talking at you. He's probably angry because of certain things that he's probably going through that he cannot really explain to you for you to really understand. I don't know. Men, they boggle a lot of stuff inside. They just feel, I'd rather keep it to myself and just, let it get better on its own than for them to share the information with you. So you never know what is going on with them. So a lot of times, if they're not able to explain to you, just keep them in prayer until they're ready to talk to you about it. And if they don't ever get ready to talk to you about it, then you stay prayed up for your own sanity. For your own sanity. So she says, I believe that because I came to God in total honesty about what I felt, He allowed me to thoroughly and clearly envision what life would be like if I left. Where would I live? How would I support myself and care for the children? Who would still be my friends? And worst of all, how a heritage of divorce would affect my son and daughter. It was the most horrible and unspeakably sad picture. If I left, I would find some relief, but at the price of everything dear to me, I knew it wasn't God's plan for us. As I sat there, God also impressed upon my heart that if I would deliberately lay down my life before His throne and die to the desires to leave and give my needs to Him, He would teach me how to lay down my life in prayers for Michael. When I heard that, I was moved because all the prayers she's been doing all this while, did it not get to the right place? Why weren't those prayers answered? Why now when you release yourself, when you now let go of the blaming, let go of, because sometimes we pray astray. We feel like we're the victim. Oh, I'm the victim. He's doing this to me. This is what's going on. So therefore, God, fix him. God, get him. Kill him if you have to. Give me somebody else. So when I read that, he would teach me how to lay down my life in prayer for Michael. Sisters of today, y'all want to hear all of that? Let me let you know. It's the way God rolled. It's the way God rolled. Because this is it. The man asked you. He said, will you marry me? And you said what? I will marry you. You accepted. Now he going through some things. Now you just can't take it no more. You can't take it no more. There's a season where the change will come. He change. If that's all, anger, and I know anger is not a good thing. I know anger is like something, is a spirit that needs to be dealt with and all of that good stuff. And if he truly loves you, you guys will get to a place where counseling is something that you guys just have to do. She began to pray for him. She began to pray for him. Like never before she prayed. She prayed. She continued to pray. Let it not be selfish prayers. Ask the Holy Spirit to teach you how to pray for him. Because you know what it is? And this is not for all women. This is not for all. No, this is not for all. It's just, if this is you, then check it. When you are a woman who is your wife, you own a business, or you're an entrepreneur, you work a job. So wife is not just all that you are. You're so much more. You're a mom, you're a spouse, partner, friend, doctor, everything. It's a lot of work. So that's why it bothers me a lot of times that the newlyweds now, did someone not tell them what marriage is? Did someone not coach them? Because in the Bible, in Titus, it says the older married women should teach the younger married to love and respect their husbands. Respect is reciprocal. Ladies, don't get me off here. I respect you. You don't have to tell me, you don't have to ask me to respect you because you respect me. I don't respect you because you respect me. Both of us, I'm going to respect you because you respect me. And I'm going to respect you first, and then you respect me. But respect will definitely be there. I came across something, and I wanted to, give it to you all. Because it says something about women who are So this was supposed to be called Wait Before You Say You No Longer Want to Be Married. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. I'm trying to get y'all where it's at. Creating a home. It's important. Ladies, many of you did not have moms to teach you. Many of you dated and thought marriage is a bigger version of dating. No, it's a whole different ballgame. There's a method to that wonderfulness. Let me not say madness. It's a method to it. Because who we were 22 years ago is not who we are now. We've changed. We've changed. We've changed. Who we were 22 years ago is not who we are now. Change is inevitable. It must happen. It must happen. So it says, I don't care how liberated you are. When you are married, there will always be two areas that will ultimately be your responsibility as a woman: home and the children. Home and the children. Even if you are the only one working and your husband stays home to keep the house and the tent and tend to the kids, you will still be expected to see that the heart of your home is a peaceful sanctuary, a source of contentment and acceptance, rejuvenation, nurturing, rest, and love for your family. On top of this, you will also be expected to sexually be appealing, be a good cook, a great mother, a great mother, and physically, emotionally, and spiritually fit. It's overwhelming to most women. But the good news is that you don't have to do it all on your own. Seek help, seek guidance, seek change. I'm going to be teaching on the 4 laws of love in the next couple of days. Watch out for that. Yeah, you have to change. I love the conversation that she had with the creator. That conversation was deep. Because you see, when we're pointing fingers and say, God, change him. You got to change him. He needs to be changed. I can't do this no more. This is beyond me. This is too much. This is where she was going. She was going ballistic. And she says, the whole requirement is especially hard when you feel your husband has sinned against you with unkindness, lack of respect, indifference, irresponsibility, infidelity, abandonment, cruelty or abuse, hatred, self-pity, lovelessness, and revenge, to be just as bad as any others. Confess them and ask God to set you free from anything that is not of him. Now, she now got to a place where she was having this conversation with God, and she said, God, you and I need to have this conversation. We need to talk. We need to talk. So her and God began to have this conversation. And says, do you see the way he is, Lord? You know, you have that conversation with, like, God, do you see what he's doing to me? Do you see how he's been treating me? And do you know what God says? He says, do you see the way you are? Because we always see the other person. We don't see ourselves. We don't see what we're doing. We see what they're doing. Lord, are you saying there are things you want me to change in me? Many things. Are you ready to hear them? Well, I guess so. Tell me when you're really ready. Have you ever asked God to show you you? Have you ever asked that you want to see what you look like? Because a lot of times we don't see what we do to trigger majority of these things. And if you're not doing anything to trigger them, why in the heck did you marry an angry man? Why? Because give or take, anybody can get angry. Even the Bible says you can be angry, but don't let the sun go down on your anger. But when a person is so angry that it leads to other things, that's beyond. It's crazy. So check it out. God was like, tell me when you're ready. When you're ready to hear what I gotta say. Why? Why me, God? Why? He's the one that needs to change, not me. The point is not who needs to change. The point is who is willing to change. Remember what I tell you. You have the power. God has given you free will. He ain't doing nothing for you. He ain't taking nothing out. He ain't taking nothing away from you. Everything you will ever need, desire, is been created already. Nothing right now being created or destroyed. There's nothing new under the sun. Nothing. So whatever change you desire, it comes from you first. And then she says, why me, God? He's the one that needs to change. The point is not who needs to change. The point is who is willing to change. It's that free will that he has given us. Who is willing? Who wants this? And they said, oh, and then she said, but God, this isn't fair. I'm the one on my knees calling you. I'm the one coming to report to you what he doing. You know what God said? He said, I never said life is fair. I said, I am fair. I never said life was fair. That was deep. The first deep one is who's willing to change. And what you think is not fair to you, it's also not fair to him. But someone has to be willing to start. But how important is preserving your marriage to you? How important is your marriage being preserved to you? Very important. She said very important. The other options are unacceptable. Because she had gone through a screen, a visual, whatever, of the other option. Because you see, a lot of us, we sit down, we begin to blame our mothers back in them days, our grandmothers. Oh, they sat in that nonsense. Anybody gonna sit in that stuff and go through all of that? You don't have to go through all of that. The reason why they stayed in there was because they knew what they were doing. You see all the crazy, all the mental situations. Sit down and ask these kids what's really going on with them. I promise you. Daddy ain't around. Mommy ain't got time. Those are the things that's happening. Can you imagine mommy and daddy were sane? They were okay. It says, help me to have a good attitude about this, Lord. And God said, that's up to you. It's up to you to have a good attitude. I can't make you have anything. And this is what many of my Christians don't understand. God can't force you into nothing. He can't make you do nothing. You got to work on it. He can empower you. You ask for the help of the Holy Spirit, yeah. But he can't make you do nothing. She says, help me to have a good attitude about this, Lord. And God said, that's up to you. Good, bad, or indifferent, all of it is the same. He says, do I have to pray for my husband, even if he's not praying for me? And God said precisely, he ain't praying for you. You continue to pray. You continue to pray. But that's not, you know what you're about to say, right? It's not fair. Then she said, okay. I remember. Life's not fair. You, God, are fair. She says she gives up. I give up. Go ahead. This is going to be painful. But I'll do it because that's what you ask of me to do. Change. I can't believe I'm saying this. Change me, Lord, instead of change him. Change me, Lord, instead of change him. Change me, Lord, instead of change him. Every pain leads to another greatness on the other side. You're going to go through some things. You're going to chisel. You got to be chiseled. What change does is it takes away all the stuff that you don't need, the ones that are not serving you. And you begin to exercise your muscles of the one that you need in this season that's good for you, the one that feels good to you. So that's not just for husband and wife. It's also for relationships. It's also for your children. Let's begin to know how to be what we desire. You want to be the loving, caring. You want people to see you as this amazing. Yeah, begin to sit down and visualize yourself being amazing. Walk amazing. How does an amazing person, how do they act? How do they talk? How do they carry themselves? And then you begin to do that. Do it long enough, it becomes you. It becomes you. I'm saying this to say, two siblings, they fight. And they're from the same mom, dad. They fight. They envy each other. How much more? We didn't grow up from the same town. You're Muslim, I'm Christian. You grew up on that side of the town. I grew up in the city. You coming from the countryside. Like all sorts of differences. And at the end of the day, we can still live together. We can still collaborate instead of compete. All that comes because we respect one another. Please, do not ever get my message twisted. I don't ever condone you stay in a relationship that has to do with you being beat, getting your butt whooped. I don't condone them things. But the ones that I'm saying is trying to understand him, trying to be the bigger one, trying to be the one that is willing to change. Because women these days work, we do this, we do so much. You see, if our sanity is not intact, that's why there's a lot of people out there in the mentals. That's why you see people dying cancer here, liver damage there. There's too much going on. We have to calm down the noise. Stop making wrong decisions. Stop picking the wrong ones. You know who the wrong ones are. You pick them hoping that they will change. They don't change. They don't change. They just become a bigger version of who they really are. They say, will you marry me? And you say, yes, I'll marry you. Stop picking these ones. And if you're already married, carry your cross and continue. As long as he ain't beating you, carry your cross and continue to pray. Because trust me, one day, when he's giving you what you're not giving him, he's going to stop giving it. Trust me. You're going to say, no matter what you say, no matter what you do, she can't be bothered. Because you know why? Because you know what makes you happy. You know who you are. You know who you're having that conversation with. You know who you're doing it for. He said, be at peace with all men. God, I'll do it. I'll do it for you. I'll do it for you. I'll do it for you. But then you see during the time when you think you're doing it for God, you're actually doing it for you. Because you're going to grow in the process. You're going to grow muscles in the process. You're going to grow. They're going to call you some things. Some husband to call. They'll say some things to their wife, be like, what? You talking to me? Learn how to change in a season where change is needed. Because if you don't do that, you're going to be really, really bitter. As if God did you wrong when he didn't. He says he don't get into the affairs of men. He let y'all deal with it. Whatever, that's what you want? Fine. That's what you, no problem. No problem. No problem. No problem. I just needed to share that today with someone. We just know one person who got that. It's cool. It's cool. I also want to talk to you all. If you live in the United States of America or you're living in Canada and you're looking for work, there's so much in this season to do. Reach out. There's so much that you can do. So much that you can do. All right, ladies and gents, I'm going to leave it right there. Take care of yourself. Thank you so much. So I do apologize for the technical difficulty that's been happening with this laptop. Once laptop begins to act like this, gotta go. I can't do it. But I'll see. My laptop hasn't been acting up. It's just been this volume thing, and I'm thinking, so because I have several things that's working on the volume. I have the Yeti audio. I have a couple of other speakers that are here. So sometimes I have to switch between speakers to get the right one that works. So with all of that being said, I'd like to say thank you so much once again for listening to me. I'll be coming tomorrow to talk to you all about women that are not married yet. What are they, dating and dating. It's all good. Thank you so much. Take care, ladies and gents. Bye-bye.